When dealing with organic chemistry and hydrocarbons and naming, you're actually going to deal with the functional groups. And functional groups are groups that actually differentiate within hydrocarbons and actually give hydrocarbons unique properties. They are things besides hydrogen and carbon that you actually might add within a chain of hydrocarbons. That makes the branch of organic chemistry a lot larger. So there's several of them, and these are the ones you're probably going to see most often. The first one being a halocarbon, halo reminding us of what halogens, so we're dealing with halogens in this. And whenever I write R, that means I'm dealing with a backbone of carbon in some sense. So if we have like our parent group of R bonded to a halogen, that is the typical general formula for it. Here's an example of it. Notice we have the halogens up here. And then we're going to name this 1-bromo, 3-chloro, 2-fluorobutane, butane being 4 carbons in its backbone. And notice these are in alphabetical order. B, C, and F, even though the numbers are not the right way. Make sure your alphabetical order is always first. And a practical use might be for halocarbons is Teflon. Teflon's a halocarbon. The stuff that you use to make the nonstick pans or something along those lines, Teflon is actually used quite often. Alcohol is another functional group that you'll see. Alcohol is a parent group bonded to an OH. It could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be on the end of the chain. It could be anywhere within that chain. Here's an example of what an alcohol would look like. This is ethanol. And the way you name alcohols is that you put an OL as a suffix. So you're going to call it ethanol, showing that there's an alcohol there. And different types. And ethanol is actually used for drinking. Drinking alcohol is actually, we drink ethanol in alcoholic beverages. Methanol is the alcohol we use to swab our wounds. So methanol having 1 carbon, CH2OH is used as like a cleanser for cuts and things. Ethers have an oxygen in the center, so no hydrogen around it, just oxygen. There's a parent group on one side, parent group on the other, and there's oxygen kind of in the middle. Here is one example of an ester, an ether. And so this, notice there's a carbon chain on one side, carbon chain on the other, and oxygen in the center. And the way we say that it's an ether is you name the parent chains on either side ending with ether. So this will be propyl ethyl ether, saying that on one side's a propyl group, on the other side's an ethyl group, and then it's an ether, meaning oxygen's in the center of those two. And this is actually used as an anesthetic. Back in the day, actually not so much anymore, but back in the day it was used a lot for an anesthesia to actually help numb the pains for surgeries. Amines are another functional group you'll see, and that's NH2 attached to a carbon group. This is a cyclical hexane, cyclohexane attached to its amine group. And so an easy way to name this is it's a cyclohexyl group. And their amine is our functional group in this case, our parent group in this case. So we're going to make sure we have that in there. Cyclohexylamine. This shows that this is the functional group, and this is the actual parent thing, the amine. This is actually used as a pesticide. Ammonia is actually not as a poisonous material for most animals and bugs. So this would be used as a typical pesticide. Another one we have are aldehydes. You might be familiar with aldehydes. Aldehydes have a parent group in the C carbon double bonded to an oxygen at the very end of the chain. So this will always occur at the very end of the chain. We only have one side that has a parent group. Here's an example right here of an aldehyde. This is an ethanal. This is called ethanal because there's 2 carbons, meaning that's F. And al, the AL, is indicating that's an aldehyde. So that's our suffix for dealing with aldehydes. Al, so this is ethanal. Formaldehyde is actually methanol when it has just 1 carbon attached to it.
With Brightstorm, I never get bored learning because all the teachers have really creative ways of teaching.
As a Brightstorm member, I never felt alone when I studied. I knew that if I needed help with my homework or studying for my next big test, I could always log on to Brightstorm and find a video with a teacher who would explain it to me. I never thought I could get such good grades in school, but with Brightstorm, it's easy.
Seriously, I don't know how I survived in school before Brightstorm.
By 2. I can't do this with you 2 laughing back there.
Work it, work it.
So if we had, no, that's not right, 3 coplanar points.
So have you ever gotten off an airplane?
That should be less than. Yeah. Dang.
Is it like 500 degrees in here or what?
All right, so when you're in chemistry class, you're going to be doing a lot of work. You're going to be starting over.
So as an example, we could consider like you've got a chain hanging from two thicks.